Hey everyone, this is the Mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me today for a brief astrological analysis of Hollywood actress and celebrity Keke Palmer. But before I begin, I encourage you to join the Stargazers membership tier for weekly celebrity astrology readings. The next reading will be posted this Wednesday on the membership tier. Thank you for the members who have already joined. Your support is greatly appreciated. So for today, I'm going to briefly discuss the aspects in Keke Palmer's chart that I believe are responsible for her decision to have a child with her abusive ex-boyfriend, Darius Jackson. You know, I've said this before. Low self-esteem is very expensive, and it's going to cost you one of several things. It may cost you your dignity, your money, your time, your health, and even your life if you're not careful. I don't have any birth information for Darius, so I'm just going to focus on Keke's chart because she was the one who chose them. And if it wasn't going to be him, she was going to be with someone else similar. And in fact, I would not be surprised if Keke had a similar relationship with someone in the past. When I give my clients synastry readings, I always emphasize that even though interpersonal synergy and compatibility are important, if your own natal chart has challenges, you're going to sabotage the perfect relationship anyway. So instead of focusing on whether or not you're compatible with somebody else, make sure you're compatible with yourself first. When we take accountability for our actions, we don't repeat the same mistakes. And the perfect relationship still takes a lot of hard work to maintain. So I didn't pay much attention to Keke's career because, the way she speaks or has spoken in the past when I've seen her in interviews, it made me feel like she was being disingenuous. Sometimes she comes off as like preachy or performative to me. And I know she's a very talented girl. She's beautiful and she's humble and she deserves all of the success that she's earned. She did not deserve to be treated like this by her boyfriend. But she talks like someone who uses their words to mask something, similar to Johnny Gill. And I saw an interview that he did with the R&B Money podcast this weekend. It was really strange. And I will leave it at that, okay? Now, I'm not saying that Keke is a liar. I'm not saying that she's being manipulative. I'm saying that there's something odd about the way that she speaks. And after looking at her chart, I can see why I feel this way. So according to Astrological, Keke Palmer was born on August 26, 1993 at 3 o'clock in the morning in Harvey, Illinois. She has a Sun and Mercury, which is in its exaltation, in Virgo. And she has Chiron and Leo, which is making a conjunction aspect with her Mercury and her Sun. Now, all these elements are in her second house of self-esteem. Mercury is also Keke's Sun's ruler. So this Chiron conjunction is very strong. Chiron is making an out-of-sign conjunction to her Mercury and her Sun. So Keke has Mercury in Virgo conjunct with Chiron and Leo, which explains why she speaks in a very dramatic, performative, and even ostentatious manner. And that is an excellent quality for an actress or performer. Also, Keke's Mercury is opposite Saturn. She's verbose because she's not really connecting with her words, and her words are being used to mask her real identity or her real feelings about herself. It feels to me like she's speaking through a persona that she thinks other people will like. And her words are used to create a fog that prevents people from seeing her insecurities. Now let's talk about the second house and the eighth house, which is going to be the focus of this analysis. In astrology, the second house represents our values, our self-esteem, the things we value, what we own, and how we care for the things that we value. In this house is the Sun, which represents our identity, who we are trying to become, our sense of purpose, and what we want in our lives. And we tend to separate ourselves from others by saying, I am the teacher, I am tired, I am creative. This is the identity and the ego, which is the basis of our self-esteem. People with the Sun in Virgo are very analytical, they're critical, self-critical even, anxious, intelligent, and meticulous. And Keke's Mercury is combust the sun, which means that it is debilitated. Sometimes the combust aspect can show a person who uses overconfident language to mask deep insecurities or ego inadequacies. They have a difficult time seeing things from other people's perspectives because they believe that they know better than most people, and they don't want you to find out the real motivations. The combustion aspect is like blinding someone with a flashlight instead of darkness. This is like using lots of thoughts and communication and words and information to confuse someone, right? And again, it's like blinding someone with a flashlight instead of darkness, which is nothing, no communication, no words, no knowledge, nothing, right? You still can't see what's going on, or you still don't understand what's going on because your perspective or your perception becomes highly subjective, egotistical, and solipsistic, because now you cannot distinguish between, or you can't differentiate between your thoughts and your ego, right? Again, this is someone who believes that they know more than everyone else, that they're of superior intellect, okay? And I can see that with Keke based on some of the responses that she's had to the critique about her relationship in the past. This is someone who cannot listen to advice because they think they know what's best for them better than anyone else, regardless of age, education, or experience. That is why Mercury becomes debilitated with a combust aspect. There's no perspective. There is no processing. It's just straight up egotistical communication. I lurk on Lipstick Alley. I haven't made an account yet. I'm thinking about it, but I love lurking on Lipstick Alley. And every time somebody posted about Keke and Darius, he got roasted to hell. And that was very funny to me because I didn't know him at all. And I'm like, why is this guy being attacked so viciously by these people? All I know is that, the font of Lipstick Alley didn't like him because they say he didn't have any money, he didn't have a career, he was ambitious, and he was a crappy person. And Keke Palmer was, somebody who was settling for less. They also said that Keke liked him because she wanted to have a light-skinned baby. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but again, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I did read somewhere a long time ago that Keke said that she was insecure about her phenotype, her appearance, which brings me to the Chiron placement in the second house. Chiron represents our deepest wounds caused by early childhood experiences and trauma that we could not prevent. This is like being molested, or your parents getting divorced, or losing your best friend to a disease. Chiron represents the parts of ourselves that can only be healed by helping others to manage their own trauma. And this is like the late Kevin Samuels, who offered relationship advice based on his failures in relationships. And Chiron in the second house indicates that there is some pain or insecurity about a person's value, or the pain has ties to money. This is someone who may feel like they were used for money, or they only have value because they have money, or they're only valuable when they give their money away, their time away, or their resources to others. In other words, their personal validation is based on conditional external factors, not their intrinsic value as a human being. And there's a possibility that as a child star, Keke may have felt like she was more valuable, lovable, or important because she could use her money. Well, because she was famous, number one, and also because she could use her money to help people within her family. This is the dilemma that many child stars go through. And for example, this is like the child whose parents celebrate them only when they win the prize or the trophy because that makes the parents look good. So Keke's sun and her sun sign's ruler are in the house of self-esteem and personal value. And these planets are conjunct Chiron in Leo, the performer, the actor, the celebrity. So Keke uses her words to mask her deep insecurities about her appearance or her value, and she may feel like she has to buy love. Okay? So Steve Harvey a few years ago was giving Keke relationship advice, telling her not to date a man who doesn't have his own, who hasn't earned the life of luxury that Keke wants to give him. And Keke fought back and said that she doesn't mind upgrading a man, and I'm paraphrasing here, but she doesn't mind dating a man with much less than her because everyone doesn't start off by being rich. Now, on the surface, This sounds like Keke is not a gold digger, right? She wants a man who has more value than his money. He has good character, he has good integrity, he's a good person. That's what it sounds like, but that is not the case. Okay. Like many women who choose to date down per se, not all women, but there's a huge difference between Kiki's status and this guy's, right? Kiki's not even dating a bus driver. This man doesn't have a job, period. So it's not that. Kiki she doesn't want to build with someone. She wants to build someone. And once you build a person, then you own them. The opposite of the second house is the eighth house, right? So the second house is what you own. The eighth house is what other people own. So if I build you up as a man, I own you at this point. And I don't think she's doing this consciously. I think she's doing this subconsciously. Many women who choose to date down subconsciously believe that they can't do any better and that if they help build a man, that will buy that man's loyalty. And that is hardly, if ever, the case. Okay. So, yeah, Steve Harvey gave her advice. She didn't listen. Now, on the surface, it sounds like she's not a gold digger. She wants a good quality man that she can build with. But I don't believe that because Saturn is opposing her second house. And this is in the eighth house of secrets, money, other people's resources and debts, obsessions, possessions, ownerships, energy manipulation, etc. And Keke feels responsible for taking care of the people that she loves because she has some insecurities about her value. And she has a hard time seeing her worth. So she makes other people her financial responsibility, which is the eighth house, so that she can feel more secure within herself, the second house. And unfortunately, this relationship with Darius is going to cost her because Saturn is about payment. It is a planet that extracts things. It extracts time, energy, and resources. And Keke is going to have to pay for her insecurities. She's going to be separated from her resources, and her ability to earn money will be hindered by this relationship. Now, I read somewhere that Darius is in Aquarius, and if that's true, that places his sun on the same sign as her Saturn. So his sun, his identity is in the eighth house of other people's resources. So she was there to take care of him. His whole shtick was being a man that was taken care of. He was cool with that dynamic, kind of, sort of. And Whitney Houston had the same aspect with Bobby Brown. Her Saturn in Aquarius was in the 12th house conjunct Bobby's sun. He cost her a lot. During the course of the relationship, Bobby's abuse and mistreatment of Whitney, which is Saturn, separated her from herself, right? She lost herself in that relationship. So yeah, he cost her a lot of money and prestige. The same thing happened in this relationship with Keke. Her low self-esteem is not only going to cost her financially, but this Saturn is square her fourth house of home, family, and tradition. She will not be able to have a traditional family dynamic with this man. Or if she does live with him, it will be a very oppressive, abusive, and miserable situation, as she has Pluto in the fourth house, whereas Saturn, which is on the cusp of the eighth house. Okay. Saturn is the planet of oppression, depression, restriction, limitations, debts, and responsibilities. And Saturn square Pluto is a very painful aspect. This is someone who was forced to submit to the will of another person or a situation. It's usually abusive. Okay. And this can be a personal, professional, or a romantic. Keke's relationship with Darius is similar to another experience she may have had in her childhood. And we can see this with the Pluto fourth house placement. He is going to cost her a lot of money or resources or time. Something is going to be extracted from Keke because of this relationship. And unfortunately, this guy Darius is not an asset to her personally or professionally. He's a liability. Saturn in the eighth house, not Jupiter in the eighth house, not even Venus in the eighth house, Saturn. So you owe me in this house, right? This is divorces. This is child support. This is alimony. This is insurance payouts. You owe somebody something because of a loss, or something is paid to someone because of a loss or an ending. Now, with Chiron conjunct the sun, Keke may be very insecure about who she is or her physical appearance, which is not surprising for a brown-skinned girl working in Hollywood, no matter how beautiful she is. Keke is a beautiful woman, but she was willing to dumpster dive for a man who would give her a light-skinned baby, according to the rumors, right? I'm just speculating here. It may not be true, but she wanted to dumpster dive for a man who would give her a light-skinned baby. I don't know what else there was about this guy that she liked. To be honest, he didn't have anything to offer her. So what else besides his genetics? A lot of Black people, the men and the women, pay for genetics that are biracial or mixed or white. Okay? This is a well-known fact. I mentioned this before, but I got a lot of hate. It is what it is. A lot of dark-skinned or brown-skinned people place a high premium on lighter-skinned children, so they're willing to pay for this. They're willing to date down to be with a light-skinned person, male or female. Okay, it's not always the case, but it happens a lot. So if Keke wanted to have a light-skinned baby that she could live through vicariously, she is going to have to suffer the consequences of having low self-esteem, just like her baby. And I don't mean to sound callous. I have a lot of empathy for Keke. I wish this did not happen to her. But, all of us have been blinded by love at some point. Keke is also being affected by Neptune opposing her sun since 2011. And it's been transiting through Pisces, the sign of wishful thinking, for about 12, 13 years now. So dissonant aspects to Neptune and the personal planets, including the ascendant, creates confusion, delusion, and self-sabotage. Keke had rose-tinted glasses dealing with Darius until Saturn went direct in Pisces. This happened recently. And this is like a cold bucket of water being thrown on you to wake you up from your pleasant dream. Saturn is about the facts, reality, what can be measured and extracted. Wishful thinking is useless if you don't put in the work. Keke also has a natal Neptune in her 6th house, which is the home of her sun sign in Virgo. So she's very talented. She's very intuitive, very empathetic. She is creative. She's a true artist. But she's also very impressionable with a big heart that can be manipulated by the wolves, vipers, and roaches who live to take advantage of people who have more than them. She's an easy mark for a con artist because she wants to see the best in people. And to make matters more complicated, Keke thinks she knows more than most people due to her high intellect. So no matter how much we warn her about what's going on, she thinks that she knows more than us. And unfortunately, she was wrong. So what can we learn from Keke? Number one, if a man treats his ex like crap, more than likely he's going to do it to you. Okay. Number two, men who date women with more money and power than them usually try to take that power for themselves using deception, like cheating or stealing money, or they use force, like putting their hands on you in the house that you paid for. Okay. Number three, listen to the village elders, especially the women. Most women are not jealous of young girls to the extent that they want to see them get destroyed by a man that they don't even know or that they don't want. That's not our nature. Yes, there are a lot of Black women who are pick-me's, who put men on a pedestal. I have said this more than once, but most women would not be jealous over a man like Darius. I'm sorry. I don't know what his situation is or what's going on, but the fonts on Lipstick Alley cannot stand him. They have been excoriating him for months since they started dating. And it's like, so these women, they were not jealous of Keke whatsoever. So yeah, in that situation, when a man has nothing to offer, more than likely the women in the village are not jealous of him, and you can take their advice with a little bit more confidence that they have your best interest at heart. Okay, so yeah, when we give advice about a situation that has nothing to do with us and a situation that would not benefit us, we are looking out for your best interest. Number four, insecurity is expensive. If you don't love yourself, you'll be targeted by men who will loot your treasures and leave you depressed, broke, traumatized, and embarrassed. Protect your shit, okay? Protect your emotions, your mental health, and your physical health. Number five, and your money. That too. There are men who are out here for the bag also. Just ask share. Number five, stop having designer babies by Dollar Tree men. I understand that we all want beautiful, healthy babies, but at what cost? We need to upgrade our definitions of beauty. Light skin and straight hair is not more beautiful than dark skin and Keke hair. Okay, so stop having designer babies by Dollar Tree people with poor character, no ambition, no intellect, they're grimy, they're insecure. Like, this is not worth it. Having a pretty light-skinned baby, quote unquote, is not worth your self-esteem, your dignity, and your money. Okay? All right, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. What do you think Keke has learned from the situation? I look forward to reading your feedback. And for more astrology content, feel free to join the Stargazer membership tier. Again, I look forward to reading your feedback, and I'll speak to you soon.